The twin suns of Zytheria bathed the planet in a warm, golden light. Its forests stretched farther than any eye could see, filled with trees that glowed faintly in the night, and creatures that moved with an elegance unfamiliar to human eyes. Queen Lyriara stood on the balcony of her palace, her tall, shimmering form silhouetted against the sky. Her eyes, a deep violet, scanned the horizon, searching for her daughter. Kalara, the young princess, had been exploring the outskirts of the forest with her companions, learning the ways of the planet she would one day inherit. Lyriara's heart, however, carried a faint unease. Something in the air felt wrong. Though she could not say what, Kalara moved gracefully among the trees, her movements careful but curious. She had always been fascinated by the forests, by the small, glowing insects that flitted among the leaves and the streams that sparkled like liquid crystal. Today, however, there was a strange silence. Even the usual chatter of the forest creatures had dimmed. Kalara's senses were sharp, a gift of her lineage, and she noticed it immediately. Suddenly, a shadow moved too quickly, slipping between the trees. Kalara froze, her instincts alerting her. A small, human-like figure emerged from the foliage. Before she could react, a group of heavily armed intruders appeared, surrounding her. They were humans, bipedal, pale-skinned, and armed with weapons unlike any Zytherian had ever seen. Kalara's heart raced. She had been warned of humans before, stories of their cunning and unpredictability filling the palace halls, but she had never imagined meeting one so close. "Stay calm," she whispered to herself. She took a step back, trying to assess her options. The humans had technology she did not fully understand, but she was not helpless. Her mind raced with strategies to escape, to survive. The humans acted quickly, and despite her agility, Kalara was captured. She struggled, but their restraints were strong, woven with materials stronger than any metal found on Zytheria. She was dragged toward a waiting ship that hovered silently above the forest canopy. The craft was sleek, metallic, and alien in its own way, clearly not from Zytheria. Back at the palace, Queen Lyriara's unease turned into fear. Her daughter had not returned. She sent out scouts, swift and invisible in the night, to search the forests. Hours passed, and reports came back. Kalara was gone. Lyriara's heart clenched. She had ruled for decades, faced threats from rival planets and mercenary bands, yet the thought of her daughter in danger was unbearable. Far away, on Earth, Captain Ethan Ward was preparing for a mission unlike any he had undertaken before. He had trained for years to handle dangerous operations, but this one carried a weight that even he felt. The United Earth Defense had intercepted intelligence about human rogue bands, kidnapping alien beings for ransom and experimentation. Among the captives was a princess from Zytheria, a planet of significant diplomatic importance. Ethan had been chosen for this mission because of his skill, courage, and quick thinking. Ethan's ship was sleek, built for stealth and speed. As he navigated the vastness of space towards Zytheria, he reviewed the intelligence reports repeatedly. The human rogue group was highly organized, well-armed, and unpredictable. Ethan knew that success required more than weapons. It required strategy, adaptability, and a calm mind under pressure. He thought of the Zytherian princess, imagining her as a young woman far from home, frightened but strong. He felt a responsibility not just as a soldier, but as a human who could make a difference. Kalara, meanwhile, was held in a containment cell within the human ship. The cell was small, but designed to restrain even the strongest Zytherian. She examined her surroundings carefully. The humans guarding her were distracted, overconfident in their superiority. Kalara noticed every detail: the way the locks clicked, the way the lights flickered, the patterns of the guards' patrols. She knew that opportunity would come, and she would have to be ready. Hours passed. The ship traveled faster than any Zytherian craft she had ever seen. Kalara considered her options. She could try to escape on her own, but the humans' technology was formidable. She needed help, someone capable of understanding danger, someone clever and resourceful. Her mind lingered on the stories she had heard of humans, stories of courage, adaptability, and intelligence. If only one were here, she thought, silently wishing for an ally. As the ship approached a hidden base on the outskirts of Zetheria's neighboring system, Ethan began his final preparations. He had scanned the area, noting the guards' routines and the layout of the facility. The humans holding the princess were confident, but they had not anticipated that a trained human operative could infiltrate their defenses. Ethan's plan required precision, stealth, and timing. One mistake could cost the princess her life and his own. Meanwhile, Kalara's sharp mind identified a weakness in the containment field. The energy pulse controlling the lock had a brief interval during which it reset. She calculated the timing, memorizing the sequence in her mind. If she could manipulate that, she might create a chance to escape, or at least signal for help. Her heart raced with anticipation. In the darkness of space, Ethan's ship approached silently. He had to land undetected, or the rogue humans would know immediately that someone had come to interfere. Every movement mattered. The crew he brought with him remained at a distance, ready to assist, but trained to let him handle the infiltration alone. Ethan's confidence was quiet, rooted in experience and understanding. He believed in humans' ability to face challenges beyond their homeworld. Kalara watched the shadows outside her cell and noticed a small flicker of light on the floor. It was subtle, almost imperceptible. Her mind raced. Could it be a sign? She waited, careful not to alarm her captors. Moments later, she saw a figure moving with precision through the corridors, avoiding guards and security systems. Her heart leapt. Could this be the ally she had hoped for? Ethan moved closer, silently disabling sensors and bypassing security doors. Every action was calculated, every step precise. The rogue humans had underestimated human ingenuity, believing that technology alone could protect them. Ethan knew otherwise. Humans had a long history of survival, of overcoming impossible odds with courage and cleverness. As he reached the cell where Kalara was held, he paused. The locks were complex, but not unbreakable. He activated his tools, a mixture of human technology and adaptable hacking devices, carefully working to open the containment field. Kalara watched in fascination, noting his movements, his calm focus, and his determination. She realized then that he was different from the humans she had feared. He was intelligent, brave, and trustworthy. Finally, the lock released with a quiet click. The cell door opened, and Kalara stepped out cautiously. She glanced at Ethan, seeing in him the courage and cleverness she had hoped for. Together, they would have to navigate the dangers ahead, escaping not only the rogue humans but also the unpredictable paths of space itself. Outside the cell, the corridor stretched before them. Guards patrolled at intervals, their attention distracted by routine and overconfidence. Ethan gestured for Kalara to follow silently. They moved together, a silent team united by circumstance and the shared goal of survival. Kalara's agility and knowledge of her species' abilities complemented Ethan's experience and human ingenuity. As they progressed, Kalara could not help but marvel at the human's courage. He faced unknown dangers with determination, moving with purpose and precision. She realized that humans, despite their differences, were capable of remarkable bravery and intelligence. In that moment, she felt a spark of hope, a feeling she had not experienced since her capture. The mission was far from over, and the dangers ahead were many. But in that quiet corridor, moving silently past unaware guards, Kalara and Ethan took the first steps toward freedom. Each step strengthened their bond, built on trust, respect, and the shared understanding that survival required cooperation across species. Above them, the twin suns of Zetheria continued to shine, indifferent to the struggles below, yet illuminating a path forward. Kalara thought of her mother, of the queen who had ruled with wisdom and strength, and felt a renewed determination to survive and return. With the human warrior by her side, she believed it was possible. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, proving that courage, intelligence, and determination could bridge the gap between species and overcome the darkest of threats. As the story continued, the distant stars of space promised both danger and opportunity. For Kaylara and Ethan, the journey had only just begun, and the adventures awaiting them would test not only their strength and skills but also the enduring power of trust and cooperation between humans and aliens. Ethan and Kaylara moved silently through the corridors of the rogue human base, their footsteps muted by the hum of the ship's engines. The air smelled metallic, a sharp contrast to the fresh scents of Zetheria's forests. Kaylara's senses were alert, taking in every sound, every movement, every shadow. She had never been inside a human vessel before, and its cold efficiency was both intimidating and fascinating. Ethan gestured for her to stay close. "Stay quiet. Stay low. And follow my lead," he whispered. His voice carried a calm authority that reassured her. Though her heart still raced with fear, she had been trained in survival, but this was different. Humans were unpredictable, and these were rogue ones. They approached the first checkpoint, where 2 guards monitored the corridor. Ethan crouched behind a bulkhead, pulling a small device from his belt. He pressed a few buttons, and the security cameras flickered, briefly going dark. "Now," he whispered. Kaylara moved alongside him, stepping lightly across the floor. The guards looked up, puzzled, but before they could react, Ethan had thrown a small net that wrapped around one guard's legs. The other froze, startled, as Ethan pressed a button on a small control device, releasing a silent, temporary shock that incapacitated him. Kaylara watched in awe. Humans had their ways, and she realized that courage alone was not enough. They combined bravery with clever thinking, and it made them formidable. They continued deeper into the ship. Kaylara explained quietly about the facility's layout, recalling what she had seen during her brief moments of captivity. She led Ethan through hidden passages and emergency access tunnels that were not marked on any of the maps the rogue humans had shown. Her knowledge of Zetherian architecture and security systems gave them an advantage, and together, their skills complemented each other. As they moved, Kaylara asked, "Do all humans face danger like this?" Ethan gave a small smile. "Not all, but some of us are trained for it. And some of us want to make a difference when others can't." His answer carried a quiet pride, and Kaylara noticed the weight behind it. Humans, like Zetherians, had courage, but their challenges were different, and they learned to overcome them in their own way. The rogue humans had set up multiple layers of security. Automated drones patrolled the hallways, their sensors scanning for heat and movement. Ethan had anticipated this. He tapped a small device, and a soft pulse emitted from it, creating a temporary blind spot in the drone's sensors. They slipped past undetected, and Kaylara's admiration for him grew. At one point, Kaylara stumbled slightly over a metal grate. Ethan caught her arm, steadying her without a word. The touch was brief, practical, and careful. She felt a strange sense of reassurance. In the moments that followed, she realized that humans could be both strong and thoughtful, combining physical courage with empathy, a combination she found rare even among Zetherians. They finally reached a central chamber where Kaylara had been held. The room was filled with monitors and control panels, all showing various parts of the ship and holding cells. Kaylara's eyes scanned the screens. She saw other prisoners, creatures from distant planets, each confined in their own cells. She clenched her fists. Humans were capable of both cruelty and heroism, and she understood now that she was witnessing both sides in one place. Ethan tapped a panel, quickly scanning for the cell controls. "If we move fast, we can free some of them," he said. "It won't be easy, but we can at least give them a chance." Kaylara nodded. She had always been taught to fight for justice, to protect those who could not protect themselves. This human, despite being from a completely different world, shared that instinct. Together, they began working on the locks. Time was critical. The rogue humans were beginning to notice the disruptions. Alarms sounded faintly, and the hum of drones grew more alert. Ethan pressed buttons and whispered instructions, and Kaylara used her knowledge to help bypass the security protocols. In minutes that felt like hours, they had unlocked several cells. Some prisoners were frightened, unsure of what was happening. But Kaylara reassured them, speaking in the universal language of calm authority. "Follow us," she said. "We are getting you out." The aliens hesitated. But Ethan's quiet confidence and Kaylara's guidance gave them courage. Together, the group moved cautiously through the corridors, dodging guards and security measures. Suddenly, a human rogue appeared, weapon raised. Ethan reacted instantly, moving to intercept him. Kaylara stepped back, her heart pounding. But she noticed a control panel near the intruder. Using her agility, she flipped a switch, releasing a smokescreen that covered their escape route. The rogue stumbled, blinded, and Ethan incapacitated him without harm. Kaylara's quick thinking had saved them all. The group continued, moving through emergency exits and hidden tunnels that Kaylara knew well. Each step was a calculated risk. But with Ethan's planning and Kaylara's knowledge, they made progress. They reached a hangar bay where a small shuttle waited. It was designed for emergencies, not combat, but it would suffice to escape the base. Kaylara glanced at Ethan. "Are you sure this will work?" Ethan nodded. "We have one chance. We stick together, and we act fast." He guided the group into the shuttle, securing them for departure. Kaylara helped coordinate, ensuring that everyone, including herself, was strapped in safely. The engines roared to life, and the shuttle lifted off. Alarms blared in the distance as rogue humans realized their prisoners were escaping. Ethan maneuvered the shuttle with precision, weaving through debris and automated defenses. Kaylara marveled at his skill, noting that humans could master machines in ways that required both instinct and intelligence. As they left the rogue base behind, Kaylara took a deep breath. The stars stretched out before them, endless and beautiful. For the first time since her capture, she felt hope. Ethan glanced at her, offering a reassuring nod. Their journey was far from over, but they had taken the first step toward freedom. Suddenly, the shuttle shook violently. Missiles streaked across space, fired by the rogue humans. Ethan's hands moved rapidly over the controls, dodging and weaving. Kaylara held onto the seat, her heart racing. She realized that danger would not end with escape. They would have to fight for survival all the way home. The shuttle's shields absorbed the worst of the attack, but another missile approached. Ethan activated the emergency thrusters, slinging the shuttle into a sharp arc that avoided the missile by inches. Kaylara gasped. Humans faced danger with courage, but they also relied on ingenuity and quick thinking. She admired him more with each passing moment. After a tense few minutes, the shuttle finally escaped the immediate threat. The stars were calm once more, and the distant rogue base was shrinking behind them. Kaylara allowed herself a small smile. "We did it," she said softly. Ethan nodded, but his eyes remained alert. "This is just the beginning. We need to get to the extraction point. Then we can return you home safely." Kaylara thought of her mother, Queen Lyriara, and the palace on Zytheria. She imagined the joy of returning, of seeing her mother's face and knowing she had survived. The thought gave her strength. She had faced fear, captivity, and uncertainty. But with a human warrior at her side, she felt a renewed determination to endure whatever lay ahead. The journey through space was long, and Ethan guided the shuttle through complex navigation channels to avoid patrols and other dangers. Kaylara observed his skill, noting how he combined logic, instinct, and bravery. Humans, she realized, were capable of extraordinary feats when driven by purpose. During the quiet moments, Kaylara spoke of Zytheria, of its forests, rivers, and the traditions she cherished. Ethan listened, fascinated by the alien culture and the young princess's wisdom. Despite being from different worlds, they found common ground in courage, intelligence, and the desire to protect those who could not protect themselves. Night fell across the distant stars, though on Zytheria, the twin suns would soon rise again. Kaylara felt a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. She had escaped captivity, witnessed the courage of a human, and taken the first steps toward returning home. But she knew that the path ahead was filled with challenges, and the rogue humans would not give up easily. Ethan glanced at her again. "We're getting closer," he said. "Stay ready. We may face more danger before we reach safety." Kaylara nodded. She trusted him, more than she had trusted any human before. Together, they would face whatever threats awaited them. She felt a spark of hope, a certainty that they could overcome any obstacle with courage, intelligence, and determination. Above them, the stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the courage of a human warrior and a Zetherian princess. The universe was vast and dangerous, but within it, hope and bravery could shine brighter than the most distant suns. And so, they pressed on. A team united by circumstance, purpose, and trust, ready to face the challenges of space, to fight for survival, and to prove that courage and determination could bridge the gap between worlds. The shuttle hurtled through space, leaving the rogue human base behind. Ethan kept his hands steady on the controls, eyes scanning for any signs of pursuit. Kaylara sat beside him, her mind alert to every warning signal, every flicker on the screens. She had always been trained to sense danger. But now, paired with a human warrior, she realized how different courage could be when combined with clever thinking. "Sensors show multiple ships following us," Ethan said quietly, his jaw tight. "They're faster, but not as maneuverable. We can use that." Kaylara leaned closer to see the holographic display. The rogue humans' ships glinted against the backdrop of distant stars, sleek and deadly. "We can't outrun them forever," she said. "We'll have to fight." Ethan nodded. "We'll need to use our environment. We can't just rely on speed." He calculated their position relative to an asteroid field nearby. The dense rocks offered cover, but navigating them required precision. Humans had learned to survive in extreme conditions, and Ethan's confidence in their skills gave Kaylara hope. As they entered the asteroid field, missiles streaked past, narrowly missing the shuttle. Ethan twisted the controls, guiding them through the maze of rocks with exacting precision. Kaylara held on tightly, marveling at his skill. Humans were daring, yes, but also incredibly adaptable. Their courage was not reckless, it was intelligent, calculated, and effective. One of the pursuing ships fired a barrage, and a few rocks exploded nearby, sending shockwaves that rattled the shuttle. Kaylara steadied herself, her mind racing for solutions. She noticed a weak point in the rogue ship's formation, a small gap between two vessels. "If we can lure one of them through that gap, we can force a collision," she suggested. Ethan's eyes lit up. "Good thinking. Get ready to hold on." He adjusted the shuttle's trajectory, leading the nearest ship toward the opening Kaylara had identified. The rogue pilot, aggressive and overconfident, followed without noticing the danger. A flash of light and metal clashed as the ship collided with an asteroid, disabling it instantly. Kaylara allowed herself a brief smile. Humans and Zetherians, working together, were proving stronger than their enemies had expected. The remaining ships were still in pursuit. Ethan activated the shuttle's defensive systems, deploying energy shields and countermeasures. Kaylara, with her knowledge of alien technology, helped him understand how to tweak the shields for maximum effect. Together, they formed a coordinated strategy, blending human ingenuity with Zetherian insight. Suddenly, one of the ships broke formation, attempting a direct attack. Ethan maneuvered the shuttle, narrowly dodging a volley of laser fire. Kaylara reacted instinctively, adjusting the shields to absorb part of the impact. The shuttle shook violently, alarms blaring, but they remained intact. She realized then that humans could combine quick thinking, courage, and teamwork in ways that even the most advanced technology could not anticipate. Ethan's voice was calm, but firm. "We can't stay in the open like this. We need to find a place to turn the battle to our advantage." Kaylara scanned the nearby system and spotted a dense nebula. If we fly through there, the interference will disrupt their targeting systems, she said. It's risky, but it's our best chance. Ethan nodded. Trust me. We'll make it work. He guided the shuttle into the swirling clouds of gas and particles. Sensors flickered. Lasers missed their marks, and the rogue humans struggled to follow. The nebula's interference gave them a temporary advantage, allowing Ethan to take the offensive. Kaylara noticed another weak point. One of the pursuing ships relied heavily on energy shields. Focus on that one, she shouted. Ethan adjusted his targeting system, and a precise strike disabled the ship's shield generator. It spun out of control, leaving the rogue pilot no choice but to retreat. The shuttle emerged from the nebula, relatively unscathed, but Kaylara knew their fight was not over. The rogue humans were determined and ruthless. She glanced at Ethan, noting his calm determination. Humans, she realized, faced danger with both courage and intelligence, a combination that made them formidable allies. As they approached Zetheria's orbit, Kaylara spoke quietly. My mother will be waiting. She will not understand what you have done for me. Yet she must. Ethan looked at her. She will understand that we risked everything to bring you home. That's what matters. The shuttle descended toward the planet, weaving through the upper atmosphere. Kaylara felt a mixture of relief and anticipation. After everything she had endured, she would soon be back with her mother, and the trials she had faced would finally be over. But the rogue humans were not finished. Another ship emerged from the clouds, faster and more aggressive than the others. It fired directly at the shuttle. Ethan's hands moved with practiced precision, dodging and weaving. Kaylara adjusted the shields again, helping to absorb some of the impact. The shuttle shook violently, and Kaylara gripped her seat tightly. She had faced danger before, but the combination of human skill and her own instincts made survival possible. She realized that courage alone was not enough. It required cooperation, strategy, and trust. Ethan activated a series of countermeasures, creating holographic duplicates of the shuttle. The rogue ship fired at the illusions, wasting energy and leaving itself vulnerable. Kaylara guided the shuttle into a narrow canyon, using the terrain to block the enemy's path. The rogue pilot, overconfident, followed blindly and crashed into a mountainside. Breathing heavily, Kaylara looked at Ethan. You humans are incredible, she said, awe in her voice. Ethan gave a small smile. We do what we must. Sometimes, courage is just knowing the right move to make when everything is against you. They landed the shuttle in a hidden clearing near the palace. Kaylara stepped out, breathing the fresh air of her home planet. The forest stretched before her, glowing softly in the evening light. She felt a rush of relief and gratitude. Queen Lyriara appeared at the edge of the clearing, her eyes wide with disbelief and emotion. When she saw her daughter safe and accompanied by a human warrior, tears filled her eyes. Kaylara, she cried, rushing forward. You are safe. Kaylara ran to her mother, embracing her tightly. Ethan watched quietly, feeling a sense of accomplishment, but also respect for the bond between mother and daughter. Humans had courage, yes, but the strength of love and family was universal, transcending species. Lyriara turned to Ethan, her eyes still glistening with tears. You saved my daughter. A human saved my daughter? She said, her voice filled with wonder and gratitude. Ethan bowed slightly. I only did what was necessary, Your Majesty. She was in danger, and I could not let that happen. The Queen studied him, seeing not just a human warrior, but a being of courage, intelligence, and honor. She realized that humans were capable of extraordinary acts, and that alliances between their species could bring strength to both worlds. Kaylara held her mother's hand and looked at Ethan. Mother, he saved me. He did not hesitate. He risked everything to bring me home. Mother's everything. Lyriara's tears flowed freely. Then you shall be honored, she said, turning to Ethan. Not only for saving my daughter, but for showing that humans can be allies, friends, and heroes in our universe. Ethan felt a deep sense of pride, tempered by humility. He had faced impossible odds, fought against cunning enemies, and survived not just through strength, but through intelligence, courage, and cooperation. The humans of Earth, he realized, had much to offer in a universe full of danger and unknown worlds. As the three of them walked toward the palace, Kalara described the events of their escape. Liriara listened intently, amazed by the bravery and skill of the human warrior. She realized that the universe was full of beings who could be both dangerous and noble, and that trust and courage were the keys to survival. Night fell on Zytheria, and the twin suns had set, leaving a sky full of stars. Kalara felt safe at last, surrounded by her mother, and the human who had become her unlikely ally. She knew that challenges remained in the universe, but she also knew that humans could rise to meet them with courage, intelligence, and honor. Ethan looked up at the sky, thinking of the countless stars and planets still beyond human reach. He knew that this mission was only the beginning. Humans had proven themselves capable in ways that even he had not imagined. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and opportunities. But humanity's courage and ingenuity could make a difference. Liriara placed her hand gently on Kalara's shoulder. "You are safe, my daughter, and we owe much to the human who brought you back." Kalara smiled, feeling the warmth of her mother's embrace and the relief of being home. "We owe him everything," she said quietly. Ethan nodded, understanding that his role was not just as a warrior, but as a bridge between worlds. Humans had the potential to be heroes, to save lives, and to form alliances that could change the course of history. Today, he had proven that, and he knew that the future held even greater challenges and even greater possibilities. As the palace lights shimmered against the night, Kalara, Liriara, and Ethan stood together, a symbol of courage, friendship, and the strength that could come from trust across species. The universe was wide and dangerous, but it was also full of hope, and they were living proof that courage, intelligence, and honor could shine brighter than any star. The palace gates of Zytheria opened wide, letting in the cool evening breeze that carried the scent of the forest. Queen Liriara's heart raced as she watched the shuttle descend, its sleek metallic frame contrasting sharply with the natural beauty of her world. She had sent her scouts hours ago, but the sight of her daughter stepping down, alive and unhurt, filled her with emotions she could barely contain. Kalara moved carefully toward the palace, her eyes scanning the familiar landscape. Every tree, every stone, seemed more vivid than she remembered, as if the planet itself celebrated her return. She felt a mixture of relief, pride, and gratitude, but above all, she felt a profound respect for the human who had risked everything to bring her home. Ethan stepped beside her, his posture alert yet calm, ready for anything the journey might still demand. As they approached the palace, Queen Liriara ran forward, her flowing robes trailing behind her. Her violet eyes shone with tears, and her voice trembled with emotion. "Kalara, my daughter, you are safe." She swept her daughter into a tight embrace, holding her close, as if to make sure she was real. Kalara returned the embrace, feeling the warmth of her mother's love wash over her. Ethan waited a few steps back, allowing the reunion its full weight. He understood the importance of this moment. Human intervention had restored not only a life, but a bond that spanned generations. Kalara gently released her mother and gestured toward Ethan. "Mother, he saved me. He risked everything to bring me home." Liriara turned slowly to face Ethan, her eyes wide in wonder. She studied him closely, the human who had crossed the stars, braved unknown dangers, and stood unwavering against enemies far stronger than he appeared. For a long moment, she said nothing, her emotions too vast for words. Finally, she spoke, her voice a mixture of awe and gratitude. "A human saved my daughter. You are more than a warrior. You are a hero." Ethan bowed slightly, a gesture of respect he had learned to offer to those of other worlds. "I only did what I had to do, Your Majesty. Kalara's life was in danger, and I could not stand by." Liriara studied him a moment longer, then gestured for him to follow. "Come, Inside, there is much to discuss. Your bravery deserves more than words. Ethan followed quietly, noting the palace's intricate designs and the natural elegance of Zetherian architecture. Every detail spoke of a culture that valued knowledge, harmony, and strength. Inside the palace, Kalara led Ethan through the grand halls, explaining the customs and traditions as they walked. She spoke of the rituals her mother had taught her, the ways of the royal family, and the sacred responsibilities she would inherit one day. Ethan listened intently, fascinated by the depth of Zetherian culture. Humans and Zetherians were so different, yet their courage, intelligence, and sense of duty were remarkably alike. Lyriara gathered her advisors and the palace guards in a spacious chamber. "This human warrior has risked everything to save my daughter," she declared. "He has shown courage, wisdom, and honor beyond what I have seen in any being before. He is a friend to our people, and his actions prove that humans can be trusted allies." The advisors murmured among themselves, surprised by the queen's praise. Many had been skeptical of humans, having heard only stories of their unpredictability and recklessness. But seeing Ethan, calm, confident, and unwavering, they realized that his courage was genuine, and his intelligence remarkable. Kalara spoke next, her voice steady and clear. "We faced dangers together that neither of us could have handled alone. Humans have the ability to rise to challenges, to act with both courage and wisdom. Captain Ethan has proven that. He saved my life, and in doing so, he has earned our trust and respect." Lyriara nodded, her eyes glistening with tears once more. "Then he shall be honored, not only for saving my daughter, but for showing that humans have a place among us. As allies and friends, we will celebrate his bravery, and may it serve as a bridge between our peoples." Ethan felt a deep sense of humility. He had faced impossible odds, braved space battles, and risked his life. But hearing such praise from a queen of a distant world was unlike anything he had experienced. He realized that heroism was not measured by recognition alone, but by the courage to act when others could not. As the evening sky darkened, Zetheria's twin moons rose, casting soft silver light over the palace gardens. Kalara walked alongside Ethan, her expression thoughtful. "I cannot imagine what would have happened without you," she said quietly. "You faced dangers that I could not have imagined, and you never faltered." Ethan smiled, a mixture of pride and modesty in his expression. "Humans do what we must, Kalara. Sometimes courage is all we have, and sometimes intelligence is what turns courage into survival. Together, we made it work." Kalara nodded, realizing how much she had learned from him. Humans were different, yes, but their ingenuity and bravery were traits she admired deeply. She had always believed in the strength of her people, but now she also believed in the potential of humans as allies in a universe filled with unknown dangers. The next day, the palace held a ceremony to honor Ethan. The halls were filled with Zetherian citizens, their eyes wide with curiosity and respect. They had heard of the daring rescue and the courage of the human warrior, and now they would see it with their own eyes. Ethan stood before the crowd, humble but firm, as Lyriara spoke of his deeds. "Captain Ethan Ward has proven that courage, intelligence, and honor can exist beyond the bounds of our species," the Queen declared. "He has saved my daughter, strengthened our bonds, and shown that trust and bravery can unite worlds. Let this day be remembered as a celebration of courage and friendship across the stars." The crowd erupted in applause, their voices echoing through the palace halls. Ethan acknowledged them with a nod, feeling both pride and humility. Humans had long wondered about their place in the galaxy, and today, he had shown that they could be heroes, capable of extraordinary deeds in worlds far beyond their own. Kalara stepped forward, presenting Ethan with a Zetherian emblem of honor. Its intricate design glimmered in the soft light, a symbol of trust, bravery, and alliance. "This is for you," she said. "You saved my life, and in doing so, you have shown that humans are more than capable of heroism. You are our friend, and a symbol of hope for the future." Ethan accepted the emblem with respect, understanding the weight of the gesture. "Thank you, Kalara. I am honored to have helped. But the true strength lies not in me alone, but in the cooperation between us. Humans and Zetherians together can face whatever challenges the universe holds." Lyriara approached them both, her hand resting gently on her daughter's shoulder. "You have both shown that courage, intelligence, and trust are the foundation of true strength. Kalara, you have learned much about humans. Ethan, you have learned much about Zetheria. Together, you are a bridge between worlds." The ceremony concluded with music and celebration, the palace filled with light and joy. Kalara watched Ethan, seeing not just a human warrior, but a symbol of hope and unity. She knew that the universe was vast and dangerous, but with allies like him, they could face anything. In the days that followed, Ethan and Kalara worked to strengthen the bond between their peoples. Humans had proven their bravery and intelligence, and the Zetherians, impressed by Ethan's actions, were open to cooperation. Plans were made for trade, knowledge exchange, and mutual defense, laying the foundation for a lasting alliance. Kalara spent time with her mother, sharing stories of her journey and the lessons she had learned. She spoke of courage, trust, and the strength found in unexpected allies. Lyriara listened, realizing that the galaxy was changing, and that humans had a vital role to play in the unfolding story of the stars. Ethan prepared to return to Earth, his mission complete. Yet he knew that his place in the universe had changed forever. Humans were not merely inhabitants of a single world, they were capable of courage, intelligence, and heroism across the stars. His actions had proven that, and he carried the knowledge and pride of that truth with him. As he prepared to depart, Kalara approached him. "Thank you, Ethan, not just for saving me, but for showing that humans are more than stories and rumors. You are a hero, and you will always have friends here." Ethan smiled. "And you, Kalara, have shown that courage, intelligence, and hope can shine across species. Keep leading your people with wisdom, and the universe will remember you as a great leader." The shuttle lifted off, rising into the night sky, leaving Zetheria behind. Kalara watched it disappear among the stars, a symbol of hope, courage, and the extraordinary potential of humanity. She knew that this was only the beginning. Humans and Zetherians would face challenges together, but the bond forged in danger and trust would endure. Queen Lyriara stood beside her daughter, watching the stars. "Your friend has changed more than your life, Kalara," she said softly. "He has shown us that the universe is wide, but courage, intelligence, and honor can cross any distance." Kalara nodded, a sense of purpose filling her heart. She had survived captivity, witnessed bravery beyond her imagination, and learned that humans were capable of great deeds. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of uncertainty, but she now understood that courage, wisdom, and cooperation could light the darkest paths. As the twin moons of Zetheria rose high in the sky, Kalara felt a sense of peace. The future was unknown, but with allies like Ethan and the lessons she had learned, she was ready to face it. Humans and Zetherians, working together, could rise above challenges, defend what was precious, and prove that courage and intelligence were not limited to one species, they were universal. And so, in the glow of Zetheria's moons, a new alliance was born, one forged in danger, sealed with trust, and celebrated with courage. Kalara returned to her people stronger, wiser, and hopeful. Ethan returned to Earth, carrying proof that humans could shine among the stars. Together, they had shown the universe that heroism was not bound by species, and that courage, intelligence, and honor could light the path to a brighter future.